Forever Dog.
Hey, welcome to The Rearview, a podcast where a roundtable of the funniest and smartest queer personalities discuss the hottest topics in the LGBTQ plus community and world at large. This week, we're discussing the Lion Queen herself, Beyonce, the Queen of Mean, Ellen DeGeneres, Vanderpump class action lawsuit, and the search for Joe Biden's vice presidential candidate. But first, let's go over listener opinions on the queer legacy question from last week. What's the best scripted queer TV show of all time?
At Daniel Newman said, Will and Grace, the first TV show that changed the world for all #LGBTQ, brought on all mainstream acceptance, billions dollars in corporate financial viability for LGBTQ community, ushered in marriage equality, helped stop workplace discrimination, and overall mainstream equality.
By the way, this is Daniel Newman, who's one of the stars of The Walking Dead. Tweeted this.
Got
at
it.
us.
I wondered.
Oh.
Wow.
I was
this
like,
was a
okay.
voice to text.
This
for
is
sure.
like the hot gay actor from The Walking Dead. I was like, okay, tweet at us.
Yes. Aries Bo said, Queer as Folk, UK version only.
All right.
Okay, someone hates the Americans.
And right now, everyone should.
Right. And at Ecotilla Sanchez, maybe, said, one day at a time, and that was it.
Controversy.
Is One Day at a Time a soap opera?
I believe.
Wasn't all soap operas are inherently queer because it's what you watch when you pretend to be sick and stay home with your grandma. But
Is that the one where they have the voodoo doll? Do you remember this plot line where they fall in
Not
love with
the way
a voodoo
Monique
doll?
just looked up so fast.
is that Passions?
I think that's Passions. You're
Passions
right.
had it had witches.
Yes,
Progressively,
that was cool.
it had clones. Like there was a whole, I think, gender queer. It wasn't progressive at the time, but a person was in a different person's body. There was a lot
they
going
put
on.
Story of my life, sweetie.
the person's spirit in this doll, and then they fell in love with it. I was like, okay, queer.
Right,
We
come
love.
to the stage. Gender dysphoria.
Okay. I just want to also say, Monique, for the listeners at home, y'all can't see this, but Monique is looking really, the lashes are right. The makeup is on
She's got a
point.
gig later too.
Monique is channeling Megan Thee Stallion. Very hot
Thank
girl
you!
Monique.
Very
Yeah.
I watched
that.
Legendary last night. I said, oh.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see the flames, the lashes, the locks, the lip. Okay, the earrings. Details are important, you guys. Okay.
Amanda Seales, the dopeness is in the details.
Where are
Okay.
you on Legendary, Monique? Have you finished?
I finished it, and now I'm back watching for the third time episode 4.
Speaking of legendary personalities, we are so excited to introduce our guest this week. You know her from Vanderpump Rules. Please welcome trans activist, model, and reality star Billie Lee. Hi, Billie.
Hi, everyone.
Billie.
Hi, Chester, I love you and adore you. I had no idea I'd be talking to you today.
I know, I love you. I didn't say anything earlier because I wanted to save it for the recording. I love you, Billie. How have you been?
Just getting through these times. I'm a double water sign, so I'm very emotional, and we're coming off of a full moon, so she's just trying to get through life, but at the same time, I'm very grateful for everything that I have and that I'm doing. How are you guys? What's going on?
First of all, I'm a double water sign too. What are you?
My sun is Pisces and my moon is Scorpio.
I'm a Pisces sun and a Pisces moon.
Are we doing charts right now? Are we okay?
She brought it up, and I love a water sign. Very intuitive creatures.
Yeah, very.
Billie, first of all, I love you. I haven't seen you in a while. I know you're busy. We are living in strange, strange times right now. How are you navigating quarantine?
It's weird too, because adding on dating, I've gone on a few dates where it's you have to do a picnic or a walk and stay 6 feet away from each other. But it kind of makes things magical in a way. I've definitely bonded with people over this, and I feel it's really bringing people together, even though we have to stay 6 feet apart.
What dating app are you using? You don't have to say that. I'm just curious.
Oh, the pressure!
Oh my
yeah, I'm
God.
not. Well, I guess you're not allowed to like say this app that I use. You're not really technically allowed to talk about it.
The R word. We know.
Yeah.
The name of the new Disney film. Got it. Yes.
Wait, we're not allowed to talk about that?
It's a secret app. It's a secret society app.
It's a
We can't
secret
talk
app
about
if
that
you
app.
want to have sex with a DJ or like former child stars, I guess. I
A
don't know.
DJ.
What?
But Billie, have you found luck on it? Have you had great dates during quarantine?
I like really fell for this guy, and then I told him that I was trans, and yeah, it's kind of ended.
Let's egg
What?
his house.
Oh,
we
Let's
pulling-
egg his
oh,
house.
we-
God.
Let's
Okay,
egg
we
his
pulling,
house.
we pulling fucking up.
Girl,
Let me
pin
just
drop his
move.
address. We got you.
No, Billy, you don't have to
I-
do that. But for real though, you can do that. Like we will swing off.
You know, it's a really challenging time right now. The trans community has so much attention on them, and you know, I kind of fucked up by not revealing it from the start. I wanted to just keep everything separate, especially during quarantine, and I just wanted to, it kind of like was a little vacation for me.
It's got to be difficult to know when to talk about it. I mean, is that something you navigate every time, or is that a process? that
Yeah.
you kind of have to feel it out.
You do have to feel it out. I mean, you know, I am a public figure, so it is.
Right.
People do like Google me, and I asked
Right.
him. I said, "Hey, can we not do social media? Can you not Google me?" And he was so amazing and respected that, which is why I liked him even more. But he feels a sense of betrayal because I didn't reveal it, and I dated him for a couple months. And you know, my girlfriends, my trans sisters, we talk about this, and you know, they're the first girls I call whenever I'm going through this, and I think they were even a little disappointed in me, but I hear it both ways. Like, we're complete female, and we don't have to, you know, we don't have to disclose that, and it's our right to disclose it. But then I hear other people say, well, that's really not cool for the guy. And I really felt for him with this experience, and I know that for now on, I'll never do that again. I'll always be upfront and honest about it, even if I keep that part separate, especially, you know, as an activist and being in the public eye, it's overwhelming for people, especially a straight man coming into the relationship. It's a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure on them. And I have to respect that and honor that. You know, this is where we're at in society. As much as I work hard to normalize the trans experience and push that forward, you know, it comes with consequences, and you just have to be patient.
Well, you have an incredibly big heart and a lot of grace dealing with this, because you know, if I were in your shoes, I don't know that I would be as forgiving of people, because I do believe it is your right to disclose or not disclose whatever the fuck you feel. But I think it is always important in a relationship to consider the other person's feelings. But you are just so lovely. I'm like, wow, the amount of patience that you have, I could never.
Truly, Billy, I do want to let you know that this podcast, you did something I don't think we've ever heard. You came to the defense of a straight man, which is not that we're against it. We just don't approve of it.
No, I don't. I do not condone heterosexuality.
But I mean, the fact that people can have a nuanced conversation, not necessarily about whether or not trans existence is something that we need to talk about now. We can talk about disclosure of people's transness and where you want your trans identity as a trans woman to fit into the narrative of dating is very important. But like Chester said, we're rooting for you. So cute that you were being very graceful and careful with his feelings, but we're rooting for you and all of our trans siblings. Like I'm never gonna be like, oh yeah, dude, like you were fooled. No one fooled anyone. Are they still pretty? That's the person you talked to. That's the person you interacted with. That's the person you clicked on.
I have a lot of respect for just saying I don't know, and I'm trying my best to figure it out, and we're all in that process. I think that's really cool, because I think everyone's trying their best, whether you disclose right away or whatever. I mean, every situation's different, and you know, you're trying to navigate your personal life. It's different than just being political. It's the personal as well, you know, and that's kind of the other side of it, which is, you know, really interesting and cool. And I'm sure, you know, you have I'm sure that's not the only situation that's happened, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get where you guys are coming from, and I love that you support me and support the community and are in my corner. I just, even with this, Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, like the love of my lives are Black trans women and trans women of color and men. And we have to send, especially Black men right now, so much love, especially straight Black men, so much love right now too, because I feel like we were all conditioned, even me from Indiana, I was born around all white racist people and I was conditioned to be racist and I had to unlearn all that. And I felt him having to unlearn all the things that he was taught by his parents and society and the culture. And I just really felt for him in that moment because, as much as I'm against hate, there's so much ignorance out there and people just don't understand. And I noticed through my trans experience that I make these huge impacts on men and I have to honor them at the same time and not be selfish in that way. But I do get where you guys are coming from completely.
Yeah,
Well,
because people's also, Billie said something very important. People's lives are on the line. People's lives have been on the line and continue to be on the line. So when people get murdered, that's one thing that we don't have to dance around anymore. We've been saying it for a very long time. When people get murdered about disclosure or about the gay panic defense that's still available in so many states when it comes to murdering cisgender gay men, but also trans men and women, we have to realize that there are certain priorities. Like we do want to be very careful and respectful when we talk about dating, but I want to make sure that people don't get killed. So
I 100% agree. I cry all the time. I wake up to sisters being murdered. And again, what I'm saying is a lot of Black trans women, which is the majority of people that are being murdered by Black men. So my thing is we need to go in and find out what's going on with these Black men and love them and teach them and try to have some kind of healing there so we can protect trans women of color and Black trans women. We see it every single day on the news, but I really do believe that we have to get to the root of the issue. And I don't think it's a Black trans woman's issue as in it's not her fault. She's doing her, she's loving her. And I think what we need to find out, the people that are killing, it's because of the culture and the way they were taught, and they're literally living in fear and scared. And so what do? They act in violence. And I think that's a conversation we have to.
It's toxic masculinity and the ability to actually articulate it, particularly, and I can say this as a Black cisgender guy, the fear of femininity and the fear of retribution against femininity, anything that isn't an already codified version of gender norms, particularly masculinity, because there is a bit more wiggle room on the other end of things. I say that as a person who grew up and I knew people that were playing with gender performance before I even knew how to articulate it, because I'd be like, oh no, that's just she's a lesbian. The word in my community. I knew what a stud was before I personally knew a gay man, and that was because femininity was seen as weak. And even if it's the gender performance of traditional masculinity through a tomboy or a trans man lens, that was more readily available to me. I grew up with out and proud trans men that I didn't even know that cut my hair as a Black kid growing up in Mississippi. But to meet a trans woman, that never happened for me until I moved away and went to college. And then it really didn't happen until I went to New York, where I actually got to hang out with trans women. So it starts there. It starts with letting Black boys know they can be loved. It starts with being a bit more verbal with your affection. And I think you are speaking to that. And I just, as a Black person, I definitely want to make sure that we say that message. Monique, you agree?
You preach. I'm gonna put an offering, in the offering pan because she said that.
And one aspect of it is, let's not forget that a lot of Black men's fear of femininity comes from racism and white men, being afraid to be vulnerable because of what they've been through, especially in the United States.
Oh yeah. You don't want to have to fight a two-front war.
It's a
No.
massive societal issue. It's affected by every single aspect of society, and it all starts from the top, which is that we have a serious racism problem in the United States, and that affects every little thing, including the fact that we have trans women dying now in an insane at an insane rate.
Billie, can I ask a quick question? This is the only thing that's just
Yeah.
on my heart, right? So when you were talking about disclosing and not disclosing, because you are very much a woman, and it is your place whether to disclose whenever. My question is it this place of like still wanting to be seen as the woman you are and then not objectified as a sexual being? Is that another space that you have to fight it, or not fight, but navigate through as you are in the dating pool? Because I feel that what we know of trans women specifically, it's only their beings just for cis straight men's sexual objectification or gratification. Outside of that, they have no sense of being, no sense of worth. So you, as an out and proud open woman, the world loves you, the world knows you. How do you navigate that space of still wanting to be seen? Like, no, honey, before you found out, like, you know what I mean? Like, don't switch the energy now to it being something that it wasn't, 5, 10, 20 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I definitely, even the way that I look, I'm curvy, I have large breasts, like I definitely like express my feminine energy in a flamboyant way, and that attracts men sexually for sure. I think a lot of us trans women can, agree to that. But that's also why they like us, because of our feminine energy and how we honor that. But in this particular situation, I just tried something new. I really wanted him to get to know me for me, and during that time, there was like some tabloid drama because I had castmates that were fired, and like I felt like I was gaslighted in that experience. And so there was just a lot of drama online, and then also on Instagram. And I just wanted him to get to know me for me and not all that shit. Like, we're allowed to date and not have, here's all my baggage, here's all my trauma. Like, so yeah, that's kind of where I was. But then I really realized in those moments that I wasn't completely honest with him. I was betraying myself, and that just came back up, and karma hit me with some rejection. But I was betraying myself because I wasn't fully honest with him. And again, when he did ask certain questions and it led to my disclosure, it's because I wanted to be honest. I never lied to him. I just didn't reveal anything. And then when he asked about my period, for instance, that's when I told him I was trans. So, but yeah, it happens a lot here, everywhere. Like men, the masculine energy, those that are very attracted to the feminine energy, they love trans women because we fully honor and express that feminine energy. And, that comes with desires and fetishes and stuff like that. And we have to work through that and try to avoid that. I definitely get a lot of sexual questions at the beginning, and I just cancel that or just stop talking to them, because I really do want to have a connection and start a family someday.
Right.
Well, this has been very interesting. I really appreciate
So
your
good.
vulnerability, Billie.
Love it.
So good. I could cry.
It's very, very fascinating.
Thank you for always being so open, Billie. Like in
Yes.
everything you do. From the moment that I met you, I was just like, wow, this is a person that can be 100% vulnerable and be strong in their vulnerability all the time. And I really, really appreciate that about you. And the world does.
No. Oh, I appreciate you guys for saying that. And honestly, like, I say it now, but I'll probably cry later.
Which is okay too.
I mean, it's quarantine, so it could be for a number of reasons.
Quarantine.
If you cry during this, I'm like, me too, girl. I got you.
Okay, so we can't have you here and not talk about Vanderpump Rules. Because, the Grindr girls are going to want to get some tea if we can.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
know you recently left. And I know that, there was a lot influencing that decision. And I just wanted to, hear from you about what it was like being on the show and, you know, what led to you leaving, and if you, whatever you feel comfortable talking about, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, I went in it thinking, wow, I'm going to, you know, be visible as a trans woman, normalize it. I'm all about like employment for trans people, opportunities for trans people. And I was like, this is going to show a trans woman working, and this is going to help normalize it. And, you know, the producers said, we're going to go into this, you know, with really good energy and do something positive out of it. And the first season, yeah, they tried, and they, you know, they did pretty well, but there was just so much off-camera stuff happening that I felt really like discriminated against in certain aspects. And then when the second season came around, just what they were doing with my storyline, like, I mean, I'm an activist, but I'm also vegan. I'm a vegan activist, and I've been vegan for 9 years. And it's like, you know, I begged them to do a double date with this guy that I was dating. I was like, we need to see trans women on double dates with cis people to normalize this. And I finally got it, and they made reservations at a steakhouse. And it's just like, what? Like, I don't want to go to a steakhouse. Yeah, I went, I got a salad. I wasn't going to be difficult. But I mean, the littlest things, and you know, some of the cast members were kind of like the boss and the star of the show, and those people like Jack Taylor just said the
I was
like, all right, that tracks.
Yeah, those people, he just said really awful things. Like, we were on camera, he was like flirting with me and being all nice, and then off camera later that day he was like, yeah, I kissed a girl one time, I found out she was a dude, and like, that's not cool. And like, he was just really, he was trying to like let me know that he wasn't cool with into trans women, but it was just so the opposite from on camera to off camera. And that was Pride, my first season. Like, that was my introduction, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be challenging. And you know, even Lisa, she's old school, she has so much privilege, and she doesn't understand some of the stupid shit she says. And there was just so much privilege, white privilege on that show. And I was so aware of it and this privilege. And anytime I tried to call them out, it was like, oh no, we want the problem to go away. I'm not going to try to lose my career or my job because I might say something wrong around Billie. Instead of learning and trying to educate them. And even when I first started, I sent them all an email and said, hey, GLAAD is doing a workshop for media training. If you guys are on the red carpet, you know the right thing to say. Let's do this. Not one person responded. So I really did go in as an activist, and they were just like, bitch, get out of the way. Let me get through with my white dumb privilege.
To Jax, I have to say, no ma'am, no, wait for it, sir. Don't you ever. That's so fucked up. Don't ever.
He has a history of making homophobic remarks.
Oh my God.
But
I mean, so many.
I hate even saying this. To say someone makes a homophobic remark in like a vacuum, like part of me as a listener and as a viewer, I'm like, oh, that sucks. They got to do better. But when I hear stories about them violently and rudely misgendering someone that's a castmate, it's so lame. Yeah. It's so, I don't even want to say lame because that's ableist. It is so childish and backwards and regressive. It is so old, like him. It is 2020. Damn. And you acting like this behind the scenes? That's corny. That's corny.
When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Isn't that the
yes? When people
the Oprah
show
statement?
You who they are.
Period.
Maya
Believe
Angelou.
them. This is TTT.
Billie, I'm a text you off camera, baby, because I want to know some other things that I can't say.
Girl, his skin look like Teflon. He shouldn't be talking to people like that.
Didn't he get embarrassed when he told Lisa it was his show, and she was like, "No, it's not. It's not your show."
First of all,
there was so much rage there. Yeah,
moments like that need to be. Like, everyone is always like, oh, I want to watch Andy ask them about drama, but I want to see Andy ask people about doing shit like that behind the scenes.
That's
get
foul.
Ratings,
girl.
Well, that's foul.
What's upsetting is the Bravo audience. If you watch Vanderpump Rules or Housewives, there's so much such a big queer audience, so many female audience members as well. A huge audience of queer people, though, who want to see diversity and in all forms and want to see themselves represented. And what we get continually is the same cis old women,
yes,
and men who end up being homophobic half
Can
the
we
time.
say this real quick too?
Like what?
Just real quick, Billie, as someone who works on Bravo, I just don't understand who these homosexuals are that are doing these ladies' makeup. Okay? Because the confessionals and the reunion shows, I'm like, you have these women in back row drag and it is not blended. Andy don't give them no kind of filter, just nothing. And I'm like, these are homosexuals? Because you know that at least they look like us in the little, like, before the confessionals start, before the reunion shows start, he goes and he pops in on all of them. And they just look rough. And I'm like, no, I know they got a budget.
Back row drag that's not blended. Someone copyright, put a stamp.
Just Andy, I'm just thinking, just going back to Jay's point though, I think that would be a lovely, lovely show. But just if he's doing that, then he got to get them together. Like, sis, blend it out. You know what I mean? Like, I have 14-year-olds telling me.
I just have to say, like in meetings when I was pitching and stuff with other shows and other projects that I was working on, Bravo is known as like the white girl network, and we have to think about who are in the suits, who's to hire up. Most of them are usually white and cis, and they're just it's at the top. And I have to say this, with Jack Taylor, the reason why I was so upset, and this is me coming from a trans woman and as an activist. He prevented me from having airtime. He prevented me from filming certain scenes because he said that he didn't want me around because I might cause drama. We all know that's complete bullshit because the whole show is based on drama, and that's the reason why they have the show, and that's the reason why their ratings are so well, is because of the drama. So that's what the producers told me. But in reality, I later found out when I filmed the reunion with him, and this didn't air, but he just said, I didn't want to film with her. I didn't want to work with her because I didn't want to say the wrong thing and lose everything I have. And so he literally made me go away. He literally made me have less airtime, a trans woman. And that was just so disgusting on so many levels. And for Bravo to not recognize that and to not fire him, I'm appalled. And I will never watch Bravo again. I will never have a meeting with them again. I don't want to do anything with them because for me, they're part of the problem. And unless they really change their content, unless they have Black people on all their shows, queer people on all their shows, I don't want to watch it, period.
Where's Andy
they
in
have
these decisions?
Oh my God. Okay, so we talk about erasure being passive. It's, I didn't know that these people existed. I didn't write this character because I don't know one. But this is a very rare form of actively erasing a minority from the narrative and taking money out of their purse.
Right.
Ooh.
Exactly. And that's what I thought for. Like, I didn't just fight for me to have a little airtime. Like, I was literally like, the whole point of me doing this show, I didn't even watch Vanderpump before. To be honest, I didn't watch reality television like that before. I'm usually a really spiritual person and I don't watch much TV. And if I do watch it, it's usually scripted, groundbreaking stuff that like moves us in a direction with diversity and inclusion. And just to be intertwined with all of this privilege and hate and discrimination on and off camera, it was a really dark time for me. I cried all the time. I was very depressed. I was suicidal. I felt like I literally went back to high school. Like, and my high school had a lot of white privileged, mean people in it, and they were very mean to me. And I just felt that all over again. And I was like, what on earth did I do in my past life to deserve that?
I'm sorry, Billie.
That's horrible.
I know
So
our
sorry you went through
apologies.
that.
Yeah, but I'm very sorry you had to go through that. Okay, well, let's go to something a bit more positive. So,
Here we go.
Please.
Yeah.
Billie, this podcast talks a lot about queer culture, and we're always fascinated to hear what aspects of queer culture growing up helped you navigate this world and become the person you are. This can be TV, film, music, politics. What in our shared culture has helped you evolve the most?
I have to say, like, this is like weird kind of in a way, but I didn't have a lot of access to things, especially being born and raised in such a small town in Indiana. It's just a very, very white racist town.
I'm from Brownsburg, Indiana, Billie.
What? I'm from West Terre Haute.
Yes, represent.
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute. I
Yes.
used to have a
It's,
boyfriend who lived there.
TERREAHAUTE.
Oh, he can.
Yes, it means Highland.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant it's too many white people here.
Not wrong.
But it was the Oprah Winfrey Show really was like my only window into like inspiration, love. And when she would have queer people on, when she had her first trans person on, like it was my only real connection outside of my world. And in those moments, I learned the beauty of Black people and Black culture and of queer people. And, Oprah said this before in an interview. She's like, yeah, people come up to me because I raised them. And she did. She raised me in a way and introduced me to so many things because I wasn't getting it from school or from my family.
I'm on
The power of Oprah.
Yeah.
She's coming back to daytime TV.
Yeah. She put Breonna Taylor on the last physical cover copy of O Magazine. She'd been on every cover. Like there wasn't a single, she was in her garden. She was at the table. She was skiing, everything. And then on the last issue, she said, I'm going to put Breonna Taylor on there. The power.
It's the first time in 20 years?
Yes. The first time ever someone else has been on the cover besides Oprah.
A legend.
I hope every magazine follows with that. Like, it's not just in art. I really do hope that others follow because that was groundbreaking and beautiful and this has to continue,
Oh, you're groundbreaking and beautiful though, Billie. So I'm so happy that we got to have this chat. She got real. And now it's time for Hot Tops, where we, plus Billie, break down all the latest political, cultural, and queer gossip. Let's begin.
Okay, our first Hot Top this week, Beyonce dropped a surprise visual album on Disney+, Black is King. Monique, did you perchance get to see it?
When I say that this young woman, this legendariness, I cried for a plethora of reasons. One, I have never seen such Black excellence just done so well. The production, the budget, the costumes, the colors, the everything, right? Just from start to finish. I mean, I just feel like each time she's done a visual album, it's just gotten better and better. But to see this one and just to know what it meant, like I just wept. I just wept. I wept. And then I also cried, like later in, the only song I didn't watch or listen to was the, I was like, I don't know what she's talking to, Jesus. I'm gonna mute that, but the visuals was cute. I want the costume. I'm not talking to the devil like that, okay?
Did you think she was trying to compromise your Christianity,
Not
Monique?
my Christianity. No, first of all, I don't claim to be a Christian, but I was just like, wait a minute, Holy Ghost, I don't know. I said, oh no, we just gonna mute that. But it was cute. I also cried because I know that she will never, first of all, she's paid because it's with Disney, okay? And this is the third thing she's done with Disney. But I cry because I feel like she won't get the credit that's due to her. Like this, it was a damn short film.
You know how much she was paid? $100 million for the three things: Lion King, this, and The Gift, and then one other thing. So she got paid. That's like a LeBron, A-Rod level money for an artistic venture. I loved it because of there's layers upon layers of messages. So The Gift is about the Lion King, but what she does that's so smart is she takes the narrative of the Lion King, which is about a young king finding his way back to his homeland, and combines it with our rediscovery of how beautiful our Blackness is, and Beyonce's journey back to her Blackness and back to her focus on Black art that started in formation when she started saying things like explicitly about her Blackness, to also uplift the generation coming after her, which is her daughter and her other daughter and her son. It's so well crafted, beautifully shot. I watched it And it was one of those times where like you watch a video and you're like, oh man, I'm enjoying the song, but we have to go back. Look at this shot. She used so many different African directors. She got there was a lot of locally sourced talent too. It wasn't just her bringing a production company over to Africa. She found African directors. She found African hairstylists. It was so massive. The scale of this visual album is, to me, more impressive than the previous two because it is about the diaspora. It's about Blackness having to find a way.
Word.
Oh yeah, you know. Monique said plethora. I was like, okay, we doing this today.
We can play.
I was like, it was so stunning to see, and it was so beautiful to get to see people who aren't part of the narrative of Blackness in this country also celebrate it. That's one thing that's so fun for me now is to see white people from very white families with very white histories be like, oh, this is beautiful. Because that means a lot. That means a heck of a lot because 10, maybe even 5 years ago, 12 years ago, people were like, I don't know if I could vote for someone named Barack. So I'm just like, you have to think about the difference that this makes.
I mean, I'll say this. It's way better than the Disney Lion King that they just made.
Parts of it
100 times better of a film.
Parts of it are in the film. And so like, you'll hear it, you'll be like, oh, that's John Oliver is in this? What? Okay.
When James Earl Jones comes on in the beginning, I'm like, yes, James. And the other thing, I mean, I think what you guys have said is very spot on. And I'm very, I believe all of that. It was very moving to me. I will say this. People don't say Beyonce is a fashion queen or a fashion pop star. And watch this and tell me that she is not absolutely changing the fashion game. Some of those looks were some of my favorite looks I've ever seen in my life.
Very true.
Gorgeous.
Also, to those people who are saying Beyonce isn't a fashion queen, they're gonna find out where you live, so you probably need to stop
that
saying
part.
that.
I'm hacking
The
the
Bayhive
right now.
will get you. Billie, did you get to see it?
I did. And you know what? I saw it twice. The first time sober, the second time stoned. And
Beautiful.
I really, it's one of those masterpieces that, you know, you'll just keep watching. And I thought it was such a powerful, beautiful movie or short or whatever you want to call visual album. And, you know, Black is king. I don't know. I'm so in love with Black culture. And, you know, as society, especially a lot of white people in America, they love Black culture. And it's like, well, then you need to honor that and protect Black people. So I just loved it. I will probably watch it again.
That is the soundbite we will be using.
That part.
That it is. I mean, I love hearing it so succinct and so easy to say. There's so many people that don't understand. Oh, you love everything. If you love Migos, then you need to be friendly to the people that have locks on your corner. All right. How you love Quavo, but you scared to walk past a Black person on the street? What do you think Quavo look like in person?
Monique, what did you like Beyonce's brown cow look?
Oh,
Okay, first of all,
Stunning.
like, I just want to say, I reposted it on my Instagram, and I didn't want to, you know, take all of the credit, even though, you know, whatever. Anyway, because won't nobody rocking brown cow giraffe print, none of these hoes. Y'all can say it was Doja Cat, my ass, bitch. Queer people made that shit hot, and it was us. So that's what I posted. I said, queer people give the rest of the world such life and inspiration. I don't care who was on her team. Now, she has a bigger budget, so it's going to look way more elevated. But the coat with the hair and this motion, and then the little ram horn, girl. I said, oh, bitch, I'm going to get me a box of individual braids and some cardboard, bitch. And I'm okay, bitch, and a hot glue gun.
I also want to see how many people are going to write their college essays about how Monique was the foundation of brown cow stunning. They'll be, in this essay, I will prove that Monique Hart introduced
If you would have
us-
known the amount of tags I got just on all of the clips of Beyonce and the brown cow,
Oh,
everything.
baby,
girl.
you own brown cowhide now.
Hello? Bitch, I'm a stop.
Okay, I hope Disney is running that check. That's all I have to
That
say.
part.
At least some free tickets to the park, but don't go now. Wait till next year.
Yeah, Florida is not safe.
So Twitter lit up with glee after more info dropped about the cruelty behind the scenes at the Ellen show this past week, with celebrities even weighing in. Now, Jay, as a comedian, you got some secret tea?
Yeah, I'll say that it is one of the worst kept secrets in the world that Ellen DeGeneres is a bit pointed. Her tone is a bit pointed sometimes. And even worse, the first story we heard was about a person who worked there for, I want to say, close to 7 years, and Ellen didn't know that person's name. So that was like the first wave of stories that came out. But now even people who like have been on the show, they're like, oh, yeah, it's not necessarily like this warm, friendly environment. And I think y'all should have known that Ellen was kind of mean when she released a special last year and just called y'all broke for like an hour, and everyone laughed and watched at it. I was like, nah, she means that shit. She's mean. And I think this is actually a bit progressive because it shows that queer people can be shitty too. So that's always nice.
You mean
That's
just
beautiful.
now? Honey, we knew that when she was sitting next to George Bush.
Well, okay, so the George Bush
that's when she let
picture
us know that she was
at the
on that
Saints
white
game.
man status level. I have enough
Yup.
money and I do what the fuck I want.
And listen, I think that there is like this a weird trend of people to say, oh, when women are domineering and demand excellence from people, they're divas, they're the B word. But this is past this. We're talking about like workplace cruelty. We're talking about levels of kind of dismissal and I guess arrogance that border on like monarchy type status.
And not just
stuff.
her, but the team.
Yes.
That she assembled and that she runs. And, you know, if you want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost. And if you have people who are making people feel uncomfortable, if you're running a toxic culture, that's on you. Any CEO knows this. I mean, if you're top of the food chain, you show people how to treat people. You are the leader. You're leading your team. And it all starts at the top. I do have one insider story. My friend told me this, and it ended up being on that Twitter thread that became famous of people sharing their stories. But she
wait a second, is it the CD? Is it the CD story?
No.
Is
She
it the
noticed that
Wayfair?
her waitress had a chip in her fingernail polish. And she got the manager over and told her that she was disgusted and would leave if he didn't get rid of her. And they fired the waitress on the spot.
Come on, Ellen pulling a Karen. Yes!
And this is a story I've heard from two people, and then it was on that Twitter thread, that infamous thread. And I was like, oh, she really like fired a girl for a chipped fingernail. And I've been in the food service industry, and I dealt with people like
with
that.
chip nails?
How you treat waiters and bartenders and those working class people is who you are. That reveals who you are to me.
Joan Rivers used to always, if she flew like United, or if she flew United, she would ask United flight attendants who had just been on like a flight, who was like a name, because Joan Rivers was in first class. She was very close. She'd be like, who was on here and who like gave you trouble? And they would tell her. And the next time she would see those people at a party, she'd say, I hear you're a shit flyer. Or she'd like come up to me like, I heard that you're being very rude to stewardesses. What's going on with that? Who the fuck do you think you are? So Joan Rivers, may she rest in peace, was one of the good ones who did the complete opposite. So that kind of shit lets me know also that like you have lost touch with reality. So it's going to be even harder for me to find you funny. When you start doing shit like that, you don't even know how the world works.
I mean,
This is
did
the
you
real
watch
question.
that special?
That's
Horrible.
what I'm saying. It was a special where
Horrible.
she literally
Do you-
called y'all broke for an hour.
Do
and
you
y'all
think
watched
she's
it.
gonna make it and like, oh, she's canceled and oh, da 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 da, and like she's still gonna be sitting there pretty, or do you think
She wanted to quit her show when this came out? She was like, well, I'll just shut down production. That was the
like,
reaction. It wasn't, I'm sorry. It wasn't, everyone can do better. It wasn't even, I hate that these rumors are out. I will do everything within my power to fix it. It was, y'all can have your little bitch ass show.
Yep.
Just
I mean,
pack it
she's
up,
so
though.
rich at this point, she's not going to face any real consequences. Just she's angry and she feels like a victim.
What's her wife
supporter-
Sophia saying about it?
No, Portia.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Is it's really funny, the
thought it was
supporters.
Sophia.
She posted this thing that was like, "Oh, I support Ellen," and then like she's using this hashtag "Stop Angry Bots" or something, as in all the
Yeah.
criticism is from bots and not real people.
They think the
She
Russian
voted for
bots
Trump,
are
too.
trying to hack the election
Yeah.
and Ellen.
Well, because who defended her? Portia defended her. Diane. Who else? Portia, Katy.
Katy fucking Perry did. I was like, girl, why would you say some shit? Like
Katy
this?
Perry?
She
Girl,
just
she
posted
should have
some
been
stuff.
canceled after she came out with them blackface shoes.
Billie, what do you think about this?
That part.
That part.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is like everyone's gonna have their own different experiences with her. It wasn't directed to me, but I was there present at her studio while my friend was on her show, and I won't reveal the name.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was
But yes.
doing, this was years ago, and I was doing my friend's hair and makeup for the Ellen show. Let's just say, I think it was a miscommunication with the producer. It definitely wasn't handled well, but she left crying. And Ellen didn't come in and apologize to her. And we just left with a really like, wow, that's the experience. Like, that sucked. And like, I had to comfort my friend, and she was really upset. And like, that was her personal experience. I don't think that Ellen, like, was trying to do anything on purpose. I think it was really the producers. Producers do fucked up shit to get things across or to get Ellen to do something. And so I do have to think, like, it wasn't all on Ellen in that experience, but she did not have a good experience with her. And there are going to be a lot of people out there who don't have good experiences with Ellen. And my thing is, let other people who are good people and loving and have good vibes, let those people take over. Like, we have so many amazing people out there who can make a huge difference, who are queer. And, Ellen doesn't have to be there forever. If she's not feeling it anymore, move on, girl.
Move
Absolutely.
right out of my life.
Yes, come on.
Dream girls.
Jay, hit us
Oh.
with the third topic.
Oh, yeah. So, life is not all rose and diamonds at SUR. Lisa Vanderpump was hit with a class action lawsuit this week for allegedly refusing to pay overtime wages to her employees at SUR. Now, Billie, you wouldn't happen to know anything about this or any other Vanderpump Rules gossip, would you?
Well, here's the thing: is I definitely know who the class action lawsuit originated from, because he personally reached out to me to join, and I just declined because I don't have the time right now to do that. But it's very known within that community that it is hard for people to get paid, especially other restaurants. Sometimes it could take them a long time. I know when Tom Tom first opened, there was a lot of difficulty with that, and also I had my own issues where I would work like a double and not have a break. And I demanded a break, and I eventually was like, look, I'm standing in heels because you guys want me to be sexy, and I need to sit down at least for an hour if I'm working 12-hour days, because my man-made vagina hurts. Like, if I'm standing that long, like, it really was hurting. And I'm like, they were so weird about breaks, and like they just said we don't have time, and I was like, it's the law. I owned a restaurant right before I worked at SUR, and so I would get in arguments with the managers because I'm like, you're breaking the law. And then finally I put it in an email. Lisa thought that I was going to sue her because of it, and I said, Lisa, I don't want to sue you, just give us a fucking break. Like, let us have a break. It's the law. And she's like, we don't break the law, we give you breaks. And I'm like, you're not there all the time. You don't run the restaurant, sister. Like, people that run your restaurants are not giving breaks. And if me telling you this is not alarming, or you're not going to fix it, then you're going to get sued. What happened? They got sued.
Ooh,
It starts from the top, though. If she wanted to make sure
Exactly.
people were getting their breaks, they'd be getting their breaks.
So what I'm hearing is that Ellen is the new co-owner of SUR. This is wonderful.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy for this merger between the two.
That she's
you know
trying.
what? Waiters and bartenders work so hard.
They do.
I
and
know.
It is
So
a thankless
hard.
job.
Mm.
And people really treat them with a lot of disrespect. And right now, during COVID-19, they're risking their life to serve people food who should be at home anyway.
Yeah.
And to
just
hear that
grab
they're
it.
not even getting the legal breaks that they're entitled to it makes me so sad and angry for them.
Well, they're not open right now.
Well, good.
They're not open right now.
Good.
I was going to say, I don't believe in the draft, but I do think everyone should have to serve 1 year compulsory service in food service industries or retail, because those two things will literally make you understand that there are good people in the world and there are violently evil people out there.
Yes, I agree.
Totally.
Every newspaper is placing bets on who Biden's VP will be as he is set to make an announcement this week. I thought we could throw our hats in the ring and make our predictions. Chester, tell us who you think.
I think Kamala Harris is a very popular choice because she's very well known. I don't love her based on her record with criminal prosecution in the past. I think, as you can see by my background, I'm very anti-police, government that way. So I don't love that. And that's also one of my biggest gripes with Biden. I would love to see, in my personal opinion, Karen Bass be his running mate. Karen Bass is the leader of the Congressional Black Caucus. She has an amazing record working with poor Black communities and poor communities in general, really being about what she talks about and being very uniting, a figure that brings people together across all different cultures and aspects of the spectrum. She's not as well known as Kamala Harris. Everyone kind of knows her from social media and a lot of other things. But to me, I think she really puts her money where her mouth is. And she's been in this shit for a long time. And when it comes to actually putting action into place, she's there. And she's a Black woman. So that's who I would like to see.
What do you think about her age? I know Biden's already so much older.
An animated corpse.
Yeah, he's zombie Biden.
But everyone's old.
Listen, I think that's.
I mean,
just
I'm not
wisdom.
saying I'm against her. I think she's amazing. I'm just saying that's what I'm hearing is that because of her age, she might be not as close as we think.
Listen, I think that she has experience and wisdom based on her age, and I think that she can really offer contrasting opinions that are needed to Biden's sorry ass platforms. And I will be voting for him, even though I hate his dumb ass, and we could have had Bernie if y'all would have just shown the fuck up. So that's my piece.
I think people do need to hold their nose and vote for Joe.
And vote for damn Joe Biden.
I think it is going to either be Kamala Harris, Susan Rice, or Elizabeth Warren. I'm cheating because I picked 3 people. I think Kamala has the hype. I think Susan Rice has so much experience because of the work in previous administrations. And I think that Elizabeth Warren, if he doesn't choose a Black woman, because he's leaned so heavy into this, I'm going to choose a woman and it's probably going to be a woman of color. If he doesn't choose a Black woman, Elizabeth Warren needs to make sure, as his vice presidential candidate, that the cabinet, I need to see multiple Black women or multiple women of color in that cabinet if he picks Elizabeth Warren as his VP candidate.
Amen.
That could happen.
We know she would. I
know she would, but I'm just saying, because they have leaned so hard. They were like, oh, it could be Stacey Abrams. They have been playing this game, the Biden campaign. So I think.
And now Stacey Abrams isn't even on the list.
It's not that was when it was a long list. It was going to be Stacey Abrams. I think he is going to choose a woman of color. I mean, but how crazy that this is 2020 and it was the boldest declaration in the world that he was like, my vice presidential candidate is going to be a woman no matter what. It's 2020 and people were like, oh, you can do that? And
wow,
I was
so progressive.
Yeah, we should have been doing that a long time ago.
I really think he's going to pick Elizabeth Warren.
Ugh.
He might.
I'm not saying that's what I want. That's what I'm saying. As an old white man, he wants to feel comfortable.
I was about to say, Patrick, you
don't
are
talk
not
about
that
yourself
old.
like that. I was thinking the same thing.
From one old white male zombie to another.
It's like you have no crow's feet.
I really think he wants to feel like a pal with someone. He always talks about how Barack Obama and him were such friends. They could hang out. He loved the not broiness, but the camaraderie that they had. And he talks to Elizabeth Warren, we know, every week. He's talking to her every week, and they talk for about 2 or 3 hours. They have been, she's been in the Senate for, I don't know, 8 years or
Yeah,
something.
but what if she's Secretary of Education? That's another pivot I see happening. Because Betsy DeVos needs to go
Get her
tomorrow.
She'll be something. I mean, I personally don't want her to be VP because then we lose that Senate seat, and I want us to get the Senate.
Mhm.
However, I do think that he is a person who wants to feel comfortable. And to me, that's why I think Elizabeth Warren, he kind of just like gets his way in a way and like gets to like still feel like he can talk to this person. I think
He also
gets
had
nervous
some
about,
fights with Miss Kamala Harris back at the debates.
as you know, at the
Yes.
As you know what, as she needed to, because
Yes.
I was
not
like,
mad about it.
okay, and then
she's tough.
Billy, who do you think should be Joe Biden's vice presidential running mate?
Honestly, it would be nice to see a woman of color. It would be nice to see a woman. But yeah, I mean, we got to get Trump out of office. I just want people to vote.
And that's really the moment and the movement. That is the vibe.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Gonna have to get him out of here.
Because there's some people, no one here, but there are still some people that are like, well, I mean, and I was like, we gonna let 150,000 people die, and you on some, well, I mean, shit, like, okay, like this is all right.
Is Phantom of the Opera past the point of no return time.
Oh, okay.
Girl.
See,
You
saw the Dreamgirls reference that you said, I see your Dreamgirls and raise you Andrew Lloyd Webber.
It is ragtime. We can never go back to before time.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
you see what I'm saying?
Because you know his daddy's hands, it's about fisting, right? Okay, you guys made me do that joke.
Hold on. Before we move on from Hot Tops, Monique, do you have a prediction?
I just really feel like it might be Susan Rice.
Okay.
She has a lot of experience, and she's a woman of color.
It's tough. It's tough.
We'll know probably this week or next at the very latest, but it's going to be before the convention. So, okay, we have to say goodbye to Billie and let her go pee.
Oh, Billie, thank you so much for coming.
Billie.
Yes,
Billie,
thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
It
been
was
fun.
such a pleasure. You were an amazing interview, truly just fascinating and vulnerable and hilarious, and it was great fun. So thank you for coming on. We will certainly have you on again.
Okay, I look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Love you,
Bye,
Billie.
Billie.
Hope to see you soon.
Love you. Bye.
All right, it's time for Grindr Hotline. Our lovely listeners have left us questions about sex and dating over voicemail. We will play the voicemail live and offer our best advice. If you have a sex or dating question, our number is 424-235-4430. Leave us a voicemail this week, and next Thursday we might just answer. Okay, let's hear the voicemail.
Hi, this is Katie from Syracuse. I'm a queer woman who just got married to a straight man, and people always assume that I'm straight too. I was just talking to a friend from work, and I casually mentioned an ex-girlfriend I had years ago, and she said she had no idea that I was bi. She is a casual friend, but I've still known her for 2 or 3 years, so I was really surprised that she thought I was straight. Being queer is important to me, even if I don't talk about it all the time. So how do I casually let people know my identity? What should I be doing when I meet people so that they don't go years without knowing something that's pretty important to me? Like, do I have to wear pride pins everywhere? Do I have to catch up on the new L word? I feel like I can't reference my girlfriend from 2012 for the rest of my life. Thanks.
I love her.
I
think you should totally answer this question.
I'm bi, and I'm in a seemingly kind of like homosexual relationship, but I like to use the term queer just so that my bi-ness isn't completely erased. I think that what you did was everything that you can do. Eventually, groups of people will move past the need to be like, what are you before we can be friends? Eventually that will go away. But right now, if someone goes, oh, I didn't know you had a girlfriend, there's no need to get upset. You just go, yeah, girl, I did. What are we getting to eat? I mean, besides that, I used to do that. But you just have to make sure that you're educating and also being comfortable enough with your queerness and your dating history to be honest with people. I have like an ex-girlfriend and people like, do y'all get along? I'm like, nope, but it's still my ex-girlfriend. So I think you did a wonderful job, Katie. You don't have to let people know you don't have to let people know or conform to their idea of queerness or bi-ness from the beginning, because sexuality is fluid like everything fun. And so wherever you are on the scale or the spectrum, play with that and just be honest. You did a good job. You did what you had to do.
You did what needed to be done.
I have a similar problem because no one can tell that I'm gay when they meet me.
Okay. I'm gonna leave this conversation.
No, I think
do they
that people
talk to you? Do they just listen to you talk? Jay.
Just
What's that?
joshing you guys.
No,
No.
it's good though, Patrick. If people don't know you're gay, that way
I'm
they can
kidding.
be like,
They know.
They do.
I'm being silly.
Are there
guys.
people like with binoculars? Are like, yeah, that one way over there. I could tell.
Can I
No,
say
but-
that video you posted, Jay, on your Instagram, it was like a back and forth of you.
Oh
about-
yeah,
It was
questions
so,
not to ask by people.
Not only it was so good, I would say to the young lady, find Jay on Instagram and watch that video. It was so educational.
Yeah,
It's very good.
And what happens? And so whenever people do start to like really label themselves, like if you're in a box, like if I say I'm a gay man, I'm a queer man, does that mean? What happens when I want to date a trans man? What happens when I want to date a non-binary person? What happens when I want to date a trans woman? What happens when I want to date someone who's agender? So there's so many limitations that you place upon yourself that I think queerness gives you the opportunity to express those fully.
Yes.
But
Because
also, you know, she's saying it's been years sometimes and people haven't known. And I do think, you know, of course, like, let things take the time they take with people. But obviously, you don't want to go a full 2 years in a friendship without them knowing that you're, you know, unique in this way and not just another heteronormative girl at the, you know, workplace or whatever. So I do understand that aspect of it. I do think that, you know, you need to find a comfortable way within a few months to you know, I think that there has to be some more practical way
I
to
know
go
what you can
about
do,
it.
Katie. So, Katie, if you want to let people know that you're not straight, the next time you see a straight couple kiss, go, ooh, nah,
Yes,
do that.
breeders.
Or just always be like, thank God I'm not one of those. That's what you got to do. Point. Next
There you
time
go.
you see someone be like, oh, I think we gonna go to Old Navy, be like, whoo, you wouldn't catch me. So just figure out ways to do
Wait,
that.
they got good jeans though.
I don't know
I
what
was like, they actually have a skinny fit that actually like the pockets aren't too wide on the ass, and it looks good on my boobs.
Well, guess what, ladies? If you two like Old Navy, then you guys aren't gay. You're queer. Done.
You say that as a skinny homosexual who can probably buy pants at Zara.
I would never. But I like my clothes too much to put them through that. Zara, I'm gonna wash them. Well, they'll disappear once I wash them. Unless you want to give me some free clothes, I would love some sateen. I don't know what y'all make.
I don't know what the exact wording of it would be, but I do think if you're 3 months, 4 months into a friendship, then yeah, let them know. I mean,
Be like,
I don't
you
think
know
you
I'm
should
not
wait.
straight.
I don't think you need to wait a year. I don't think you have to be like, yo, I'm bi, like randomly in the middle of a sentence if you're talking about the home cooking channel or something. But I mean, I'm certain there has to be, you know, small moments in conversations where you could insert that in.
Do a
you know?
three-way Zoom call.
You
know?
three-way is what I thought you were about
Do
to
a
say.
three-way
Do a
pause
three-way
Zoom call.
Yeah.
Chester, do you have friends that don't understand non-binary people? So whenever have you ever had to tell them early on or later on? You'd be like, well, I'm not.
Well, I mean, this is, again, it's a weird thing for me personally because I don't feel like I need to say anything to anyone. So I identify as gender fluid and non-binary, and I also don't identify as gay. I just say I'm queer because I find myself being attracted to all sorts of different types of people, and I don't really let that affect my attractiveness towards my attraction to someone based on those things. And so I kind of feel like it's no one's right. And I don't think, while I think there's like power in identifying with a label, I think that labels can also be constricting. So I don't love to label everything. And equally, I don't love to always be like, well, I have to conform to exactly what you think a non-binary person is by wearing, like today, because I'm wearing a dress and a sheer top, like, ooh, I'm just like exactly half feminine and half masculine. Like some days I got a fucking beard, but that doesn't make my identity and the way that I feel inside less valid. And I equally don't have to explain that to someone. So to Katie from Syracuse, I would say you never need to feel the need to explain yourself or to define yourself in a digestible way to a person that is not you. Period. So if you want to let people know your identity and you feel that that's missing, you can do that in whatever way you want. And it doesn't have to be mentioning your girlfriend. It can be like movies or TV shows or whatever kind of media you want to say, but never feel obligated to explain yourself, because the people that get it, they fucking get it. And the ones that don't have big enough brains.
What's that, Dr. Seuss? People who matter. Wait, how does it go? Those who matter. Shit, never mind.
No, it's those who mind don't matter. Yeah. And those who matter don't mind.
That part.
You know, I think that this is obviously, from how I'm hearing it, is that she's wanting to tell these people.
Right. Yeah.
So I do think, you know, obviously you don't owe anyone telling anyone anything. I think this is a part of her life that she wants to talk about, and she's having a hard time getting there without it seeming awkward.
If you want to come out as bi, another thing you can do is get a septum piercing and play the guitar.
Go away,
everywhere.
Jay.
Accurate.
If you
I thought it was this. I thought it was the little
have a guitar.
Oh,
you don't have to learn the guitar, but just have it on you.
Mm-hmm.
Is
there a hairstyle she could get that would just kind of let everyone know?
So for white women, it's usually the undercut, but the still long and maybe some 2008 Skrillex type stuff in the undercut. For black men, if you want to be bisexual, you just have to text me, "Hey man, you want smoke?" If you want to be
accurate,
not "Hey man, you want to smoke?"
Accurate.
If you want to be a bi white guy, that means you want to be on Teen Wolf, but that MTV show is canceled.
Okay, we gotta move on.
Okay, Jay. I will say this: you know, a little social lubrication helps in these types of things. If these are friends and you're
water-based social lubrication,
silicone.
Thank you, Chester. We are twins, bitch. We are twins.
Silicone.
I have
Gun
destroyed
oil or
condoms.
Swiss Navy.
Silicones destroys condoms, even though I use it. I'm a gun oil type
Girl,
of guy.
Swiss Navy changed my life. My friend gave me one drop. He walked around about 3 times.
I don't know if
we've
helped you at all, Katie from Syracuse, and I'm really sorry if we didn't, but we see you and love you, and we really enjoyed the question. Whether we answered it in any way, shape, or form, call us again and let us
watch
know.
Jay's video. Watch Jay's video.
Call us next week and tell us if we helped you.
If you walk away from this in the middle of something, then we helped you affirm your bisexuality. So you're welcome, actually.
There you go. Ooh. Okay, finally, our queer legacy question. These are questions that every group of queer people have fought over the years. What is the greatest Oscar speech? Who is the best Spice Girl? What kind of Skrillex font are you going to get shaved into your undercut? We're going to battle it out amongst ourselves, and then we want to hear from you. Add us at Grindr and use the hashtag #QueerLegacy and give us your answer, and we'll read them at the top of the show next week. Okay, is everyone ready? Our queer legacy question is, what prompts moving a hookup from a phone number to a saved name in your phone? This is a genuine question because I don't know. So
this one, from experience, I thought, what is this? What moves this? You know, when do you know?
Patrick, do you want to handle it?
I'm interested to hear your guys' responses, because this is actually kind of my question to you. I genuinely want to know. I'm interested in this.
This is tough. I like saving numbers early because I have sent 2 different straight women my underwear pics because I didn't save a number. It was like a bunch of different text messages, and one of them was married, and she was like, me and my husband really enjoyed your picture. And the other one was like, thank you, Jay. I knew you were bi, but what's up?
Come on over.
Always save the person's number as the name and either the place you met or a distinguishing feature. So like you could be like, this is Andrew from bar. Or even in New York, I do boroughs because then you can see if you actually want to go that far. You're like, I ain't sitting on the train for what is this Ty from Brooklyn? Nah, you could stay. So you just like you don't have to use their last name. You don't have to find out their Facebook profile. Just like just give them something. Be like abs tall, like just something. Save them as something because random numbers you gonna mess up.
I think in my experience, it's been if we're sleeping together more than twice, I kind of will. That's when you get a name.
Oh, okay.
If it's 2 times or less, that's pretty common, and I don't move forward a lot of times after 2 times. But if we're having sex more than twice, okay, you're in this thing. You know, like
how deep in this thing?
You're in here for a second, or you might be coming around again at some point later in the year, and I should know who you are.
Not a boomerang, Dick. Patrick.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you around. 365, you'll be back
because it's curved too.
I would really say I save it when I want to text you and like send you something, and you know how iPhone it'll go like send to so and so or like message so-and-so, and because you don't have that person's name in, because iPhones will do, maybe it's like Connor such and such and such, and you're like, oh. And so that's when I start to save, like if I'm texting you and I'm like, okay, bitch, because I don't, that's when.
So when you're like conversing over text.
Yeah, like after the booty call and you text again, and like now I'm like texting you and I want to like see something funny, or if there's a video, I'm like, can we try this? And you don't.
Monique, are you still seeing the guy from last week?
I believe that.
Is their name? You have his name saved in your phone?
I do.
Okay.
I do, because I couldn't send him something that I wanted to send him, and I had to save it.
What did you want to send him?
Just a video for him to have inspiration.
Oh, an inspirational video. Was it like a kid was a tutorial meeting their dad?
It wasn't a tutorial, but
it was a "You Raised Me Up" by Josh Groban.
It was like a Nike ad, or
it was a workout plan.
Just do it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It was a workout with what kind of equipment?
Meat. That you have to lift.
Oh, this sounds. Hold. It wasn't a cooking video. It wasn't like a meal prep or meal discovery video.
You do have to prep.
Okay. We're rolling right now in real time. They're gonna get my latest thirst trap pick.
Is this a 30-second? Give us a 30-second like stroke. Let me stop.
I literally sent you guys a screen grab of what was on my Twitter. You guys, everyone check your phone.
I'm looking at Jay and Whitey Tighties, and
good God.
I have to go and take care of some business.
I think it looks all right. I think I look all right.
You raggedy bitch.
I think the kids are all right, Jay.
All three of them.
Neighbors know my name.
All 3 legs. Monique, you want to sign us off, baby? Well, we left Monique speechless. Chester, sign us out.
Okay, this has been so much fun, but it is time to go now. I have to go pray. Thank you for tuning into the Rear View. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also Venmo us directly. I'll take PayPal, Cash App, literally anything, student loan relief, pandemic insurance extension, please. Thank you. Leave a nice review for all the hard work we do. Goodbye.
Forever Dog.
The Rear View has been a joint production between Forever Dog and Grindr, hosted by Patrick Rogers, Monique Hart, Chester Lockhart, and Jay Jurden. Music by Gabe Lopez, engineered and edited by Will Pitts, executive produced by Joe Cilio, Anna Rubanova, Patrick Rogers, Evan Sterrett, Brett Boehm, and Alex Ramsey.